Today I'm going to talk about 12 psychological money problems that are the main root cause of many of the financial difficulties you are facing today. The dangerous thing about these problems is that you're probably not even aware that you have them. They usually come from your childhood and are deeply hidden in your subconscious mind. Your behavior comes from emotional experiences that are beyond your control. And today, we are going to talk about them by summarizing a book called Mind Over Money, written by financial psychologists Ted and Brad Klontz. According to the authors, there are 12 money disorders that affect our relationship with money. If we aren't aware of them, we'll struggle financially, no matter how much knowledge or information we have about finance. Number 1, financial enabling. Financial enabling is the need to give other people money or gifts. The person might feel that love and money are indistinguishable, and that others will feel loved and love them if they give them things. They often have difficulties saying no and sacrifice their financial well-being to help others. Parents are common enablers, supporting their children even when they're able adults that could support themselves. Even though the enabler is trying to make the situation better, they usually make it worse by creating dependency, low self-esteem, and lack of autonomy. Number 2, financial infidelity. People with this disorder avoid talking about money with their partners and hide from them how much they actually spend or earn. They lie about the price of things they buy, take out loans, or make risky investments without telling their partners about it. Money infidelity can happen between other people too, such as parents and children or work partners. Steve's wife didn't want the couple to get credit cards because she liked to spend only the money they already had. So Steve got credit cards using his friend's address. This way, his wife wouldn't have access to his bills. Needless to say, their relationship was destroyed when she found out about his secret. Number 3, financial incest. Financial incest consists in using money to humiliate or manipulate children and persuade them into satisfying an adult's need. For example, asking a child to lie about money or about the price of a purchase, or using a child to manipulate another adult financially. It's also financial incest when parents try to make decisions for their children using money as a manipulation tool. Kristen's mother bought her a horse when she was a child. Her father didn't agree to it, so her mother made her promise she would never tell anyone. Kristen had to keep that secret for years, until one day she stood up after having dinner and said, "Excuse me, I have to feed my horse." Her father asked immediately, "What horse?" That secret, that Kristen shouldn't have had to keep in the first place, created a lot of tension between Kristen's parents, and her mother never forgave her for telling her father the truth. Number 4, financial dependency is when the person depends on others to support them or to deal with money for them, even if they are able adults that could work and earn their own money. Some time ago, it was common for women to be dependent on their husbands, to the point that they had no access to the family's financial situation. Today, some adults depend on their parents during the early years of their adulthood, even after they have jobs, families, and could work to support themselves. When Molly tried to find a job during college, her father told her that no woman in that family would ever have to work for money. Molly's father did everything for her, to the point she didn't know how to do simple things, such as a balance or a deposit. She learned that, to be loved, women had to be financially supported. When she got married, she demanded from her husband to prove his love by providing her with a lot. No matter how much he gave her, she wanted more. She never felt loved enough, and they fought because of money all the time. Number 5, workaholism. Workaholics are so addicted to work that they ignore all the other aspects of their life. They can't relax or sleep. They can't go on vacation with their family. Or, if they do, they work during the trip anyway. It's usually based on the belief that more money is going to make you happier, or that you're not worth it if you're not working hard and earning high. It can lead to exhaustion, irritability, low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. Leslie's father often quit his jobs, saying that he needed some rest, causing his family to go through difficult financial periods. Determined to be different, she had 3 jobs and worked 60 hours a week. She didn't have any friends, hobbies, or leisure. She was willing to do almost anything to fit her own idea of what a successful person looked like. She was unhappy and unhealthy, but gave herself No other option. Number 6, overspending. The people with this disorder try to feel safe, comfortable, and fulfilled by spending more with themselves and with others. They have a feeling that if they don't spend that money, something bad is going to happen. For example, if they don't buy a new suit, they won't get the job, even though the suit they have is perfectly fine. They're usually swimming in a pool of debt. They also feel a part of community with the people who work at their favorite stores or friends they go shopping with. And that makes it even harder to get rid of the overspending behavior. Shopaholism can be categorized inside this disorder. Stephanie's friend, who inherited a lot of money, would usually say, "It's just money," when the subject came up. Stephanie loved the idea that money could be something unimportant. Feeling that she didn't have to worry about money anymore gave her a false sense of freedom, as if money would come her way automatically. That idea gave her permission to stop saving and spend all her money away. Number 7, hoarding. Hoarders save to the extreme, not only money, but anything, from toilet paper to empty food packages. It doesn't matter how useless the object seems to be to other people. Hoarders believe that they need it to feel safe and calm. The accumulation of things might make the hoarder's daily life very complicated. In extreme cases, it can be dangerous to live in their cramped and dirty environment. The Great Depression and the war made hoarding very common, but personal experiences related to safety and abandonment can lead to this behavior too. Bridget's hoarding behavior started when she was a child. Even though her adoptive family was loving, she had been through so many foster homes that she didn't feel safe. So every time she had access to money, she would hide it in 1,000 different places in her bedroom. She never ate at school, so she could save the money she would use to buy food. She'd rather receive money than other gifts, so she could hide it too. No matter how much money she kept in her bedroom, she never felt safe though. Number 8, unreasonable risk-taking. People who have this disorder risk their financial well-being in search of higher but unlikely gains. They use the rent money to bet on a horse race, for example. Also, they might spend money before earning it. Uncontrolled credit card use, for example. Or get overconfident and make high and very risky investments. Excessive gambling is an extreme form of this disorder. Whenever Stuart made a bad choice, such as buying a car he didn't have money to pay, his father would come to his rescue. He learned he didn't need to be careful and risked a lot of money on investments. And he won. With the false impression that luck would always be by his side, Stuart became a risk taker. A few years later, he had lost all his money, but there was no lesson learned. "You can bet we'll have it all back," he would tell his wife. His overconfident behavior led him to lose everything he had, including his marriage. Number 9, excessive risk aversion. People who have this disorder play safe all the time. They are unable to risk any money at all, no matter how small it is. And the idea of losing even the smallest amount of money makes them anxious. Many people want to start their own companies and have amazing business ideas, but are so afraid to lose money that they end up not putting their plans into practice, even when they have enough money to invest or when the necessary budget is low. They go on being unhappy in jobs they don't like because they are too afraid to risk it. Sammy is so afraid to be sued that her company charges much less than they should for their services. She justifies the low price of her services by saying that if the service is cheap, the clients won't expect high quality. Therefore, they won't be disappointed and will be less likely to sue her. Number 10, denial. People with this disorder tend to ignore money altogether. They don't look at their bank account numbers or don't know how much they spend or earn. They don't talk about money with their partners or friends. By ignoring money, they transform it into a bigger problem until it takes over their lives. By trying to reduce the tension, they end up increasing it. Allison's mother complained about not having enough money, but sometimes would lose control and buy much more than they needed and could afford. Money was always a source of conflict in their house, which got Allison confused. Her way to cope was to pretend nothing was going on. During her entire life, Allison thought that she could go on not thinking about money. She told herself that money wasn't important and worked to get exactly the amount she needed, never more. Saving made her anxious, so she found a way to spend all the money she earned as soon as possible. She knew there was something very wrong, but couldn't put her finger on it. It was only with some help that she could overcome her fears relax, and enjoy what she had. Number 11, rejection. People with this disorder feel they don't deserve money or it brings them painful memories. They believe that money is evil or that the rich did wrong things to earn what they have. Some of the people with this disorder charge too little for their services and believe that charging more would turn them into greedy people. When Margaret's father died, she inherited his fortune and his company, which was worth millions. She felt that money wasn't hers. She didn't want to have anything to do with it and kept on living her frugal life. Margaret ignored her lawyer's calls, didn't attend the company meetings, and lived for months as if that money and that company didn't exist. She felt that enjoying that money was the same as feeling happy about her father's death. Her other relatives didn't have the same problem and were intent on taking over her part of the company, though. It was only then that she realized she had to do something about it or she would lose everything. She searched for professional help, and fortunately, there was still time. Number 12, underspending. We all have to spend less than we earn, but underspending as a disorder means that you spend less than you need or can afford to, and are unable to enjoy the money you have. People with this disorder might earn a lot of money but still live in broken houses, wear ripped clothes, and have never taken a vacation trip, even though they could easily afford many of them. They might be afraid to let other people know about how much money they have, or feel like they don't deserve that much. Gwen grew up in a small town where everyone knew her family was rich. People made comments about her family's money and they sounded threatening to her. As a result, she grew up believing that she couldn't let others know how much money she had. Even though she could afford more, she lived a simple life because she believed that letting people know she's rich would turn her into an easy target and people would take away her money. If that happened, she thought it'd be her fault for letting them know. Most times you can find more than one money disorder in the same person or family. Both financial infidelity and financial incest were present in Kristen's family when her mother asked her to lie about her horse. Enablers and dependents also dance together, one leading to the other. In the end, money disorders end up affecting the person's life as a whole. The first step to getting rid of these destructive patterns is to be aware of them. The authors say we should analyze our story with money since we were children and find out what our money scripts are. In other words, what is our set of beliefs about money that influence the way we deal with it? It doesn't matter if they're accurate and rational. They made sense in their original context. Despite the fact that they don't make sense anymore, they still have strong power over us. For example, see Leslie. When she was a kid, she used to receive money from her father every month as a small allowance. He would tell her to spend half and save half of it, and so Leslie did. She deposited half of her money in her bank account every month until one day the bank teller told her there was nothing in her account. She ran home to tell her father and ask what could have happened, but her father just laughed and said, "I took it. That money has always been mine after all." What did Leslie learn from her experience? That saving money was useless. Until adulthood, she didn't save a penny. She spent everything she earned as soon as possible before someone took it from her. Leslie's money script was, "Saving money is no use," or "People can take it all from you before you know it." Leslie didn't make the connection between her behavior and that situation until much later in life. Until then, she felt ashamed of her spending habits, believing she was irresponsible and undisciplined. Here are some examples of money scripts. There's no better way to show appreciation and love than a gift or money. We must help and provide financially for those we love. Your children will look after you later if you look after them now. It's wrong to have a lot of money while other people I love have too little. Poor people are more virtuous than rich people. More money will always make you happy. So ask yourself, what are the things you believe about money? What have you heard and learned about it since you were a child? Are they rational and sensible beliefs? Do they stem from traumatic experiences? How did the adults responsible for you deal with money in your home? How has that affected the way you deal with money now? Do you repeat those patterns? Do you do the opposite of what they did? Once you know what your misconceptions about money are, keep what is good about them and get rid of what's not. Most times, middle ground can be very positive. Instead of "money isn't important" or "money is the most important thing," you can stick with Money is important, but not more important than my health. For example, repeat it to yourself until it sticks. It's a reminder that you have a choice. The second step to get rid of those patterns is to train your rational mind to take over. Even though a money disorder can be extreme, sometimes it's subtle and affects our lives in not so obvious ways. We unconsciously justify our beliefs to ourselves in a way that seems to be sensible, even though it's not. According to the authors, that happens because we have two minds, the animal mind and the rational mind. The animal mind is the part of us that deals with our most basic needs and responses, the ones we don't need to think about before doing. Eating when we're hungry, fighting when we're angry, running away and hiding if we're scared. We do those things automatically. Think of it as a crocodile or a monkey. Now, the rational mind is the part of our minds that rationalizes. This side of us can analyze options and choose the best one based on accurate information and assessment. Think of it as a scientist. Well, I have bad news and good news for you. The bad news is that when we are scared or stressed, our animal mind takes control. We react with fear instead of logic. The scientist is shrinking in a corner as he watches the crocodile and the monkey take over the situation. So, instead of thinking about it, you go on a shopping spree, you gamble, you work 60 hours a week. You don't think about why you're doing those things, and even if you do, you try to justify them with arguments that don't make much sense. The animal mind has good intentions. It's trying to save you from being hurt again. But since these stories were not constructed rationally, they often hurt you instead of helping you. That's why, even though we know what we have to do, doing it is not that simple. The good news is that you can train your rational mind to take over in situations where your animal mind would usually rule. That's what firefighters do. They train to respond to unpredictable and dangerous situations rationally. Someone would never go into a building that is on fire if they allowed their instincts to command. That's why they train their animal minds to give space to their rational minds when needed. And you can too. How to do that? The authors say there are many ways to do it, but the two main ones are 1. Meditation. Meditation practice helps you gain power over your thoughts instead of allowing them to control your actions. It also teaches your mind to remain calm, even when you're experiencing stressful emotions. A crucial skill to deal with money rationally. Number 2, self-knowledge. You need to learn how to recognize the physical hints of your stress response. If you know exactly how you feel before losing control, then you can stop it from happening. You recognize the signs your emotions give you and activate a relaxation response to calm down your animal mind and allow your rational mind to drive you. Here's an example. Suppose you went on a shopping spree at the mall last night. You feel terrible now, so you don't want to think about it. But instead of ignoring the event and promising yourself to never do it again, analyze it. Did you intend to buy anything at all? What exactly did you think or feel before losing control? Don't shame or criticize yourself. Just sit back and let your mind take you to those thoughts and emotions. You will slowly learn to recognize it when your animal mind is taking over your rational mind. When you feel it coming, breathe slowly, count to 10, sing mentally your favorite song. Believe it, the brief emptiness between impulse and action is enough to allow your rational mind to take over again. And then you can, for example, negotiate with yourself. I want to buy it, but I know I might regret it later. I'll wait and buy it tomorrow if I still want it. The key is to anticipate the situations, environments, people, and emotions that usually trigger your reactions and be prepared with all the tools you need to resist them. Step 3, face your fears. Changing your behavior won't be easy. Imagine you've been working 60 hours a week for the last 10 years and now you have to take a vacation. It's new and scary. And your mind and your body will play dirty to convince you to go back up and go back to your old habits. The only way to send fear away is to face it. If you've prepared for it, you know what the right thing to do is. Also, you don't have to do this alone. Talk to your friends, family, partner, tell them how you feel, ask for their help to put things back into place. If you ever feel that you have lost control of your financial life, professional help might be needed. Last but not least, this is a slow process. so it's normal to slip back into old habits. Don't see that as a failing, just use the situation to learn. Ask yourself, what caused you to slip back? Then try to think of different ways to act in the future. The goal is always progress, not perfection. If you'd like to learn more on this topic, I recommend checking out the book because there are several exercises you can do that can help you to understand your problems better and find solutions. The link to the book will be in the description. All that being said, this video and book should not be an alternative to professional advice. This is all about money disorders. Thank you for watching and have a great day.